Hey guys and gals, it's the Cannabis Crone. I hope you're all doing well. Um, I've been okay, first off, if I jump up and run out, it's because I can hear a hornet must have gotten into the house. I can hear it buzzing around, so I'll have to grab a jar so I can put him safely outside without getting stung. But I don't want to stop this, so I'm going to keep going. But if I jump up, you'll know why. Um, I've been thinking a lot about white privilege and what it means and why it upsets so many people, especially white people, being labeled as that. I mean, it causes, and I noticed the same reaction in me. It's like kind of this tightening of the chest, this like all of the sudden rush of shame, and it's just a really weird experience, a weird thing. And I kind of wanted to explain white privilege from a girl who has grown up in white privilege. She was born into it. Now, nobody is telling you that you have to be ashamed of being white. Seriously. I don't think anybody has said that. I mean, maybe there's people that say it, but I'm not saying it, you know. What I'm saying is that from the moment that you were put on this earth, you were put in a place of privilege. And I, as a white woman in America, can look back on my life and say, well, number one, my life was hard as hell. I mean, wow. I've had some shitstorms thrown at me. But I've also had some opportunities that would not have allowed me to get out of those shitstorms because of this, because of the color of my skin. Opportunities I know would not have been afforded to a black woman in this community. I'm telling you, I know it. So my white privilege has made it so that I could be where I am today in spite of some very, very massive shitstorms in my life. So I'm not saying, and I don't really think anyone is saying that you personally didn't have a hard life. If you're yelling at your computer screen right now telling me that you did have a hard life, I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did. But the fact that you had white skin instead of black skin made a big difference on how easy it was for you to get out of that shitstorm. That's all I'm saying. And it's not your fault, and it's not my fault. I didn't ask to be born white. It's just the luck of the draw, you know, or the stork's choice, or if you believe in fairy tales, you know, God preordained what you would be, whatever. When we're born, we have no choice as to the color tone of our skin. But we do need to, at a certain point, become a little more aware and acknowledge our white privilege and acknowledge what it has done for us, and then maybe try and take that white privilege and use it for somebody who doesn't have it. You know, is that so wrong? I don't think so. That's what I'm trying to do. That's why, you know, I do these podcasts, and I'm always waiting because I know people are going to like totally disagree with me, but I have such a small viewing audience right now. I don't really have to worry about it. But I still would keep going, you know, because these things need to be talked about without shame. You don't need to be ashamed of being white. What you need to be ashamed of is the fact that this society is still functioning like this. I mean, shouldn't we have evolved way past that? That's what I'm ashamed of. I'm ashamed that evolution stalled out in like the 1920s and we haven't gone any further. You know, like we're still there. We're still there in mentality. It's just insane that there is still a division among earth beings, carbon-based life forms. I mean, we could be the only carbon-based life forms in the universe. Think about that. And yet we're pissed at each other because of the color of our skin. And that's way oversimplifying it, because basically our country was founded on the principles that would exclude people because of the color of their skin. You know, look, the Constitution was stolen from the indigenous by our white founding fathers, and then they bastardized it and made it so that, unless you were white with a big penis, or even a small penis, it doesn't matter, as long as it was a white penis, you would get rights. And if you had a vagina, you wouldn't have rights. If you were brought over here from Africa as a slave, you didn't have rights. If you were here before anybody else and you were indigenous, you didn't have rights. So the country was kind of founded on that, and why should we expect to be in any different of a place right now? Yeah, I'm taking issue with the Constitution of the United States, because it was obviously... I'm not even going to go into that. That's just too exhausting. I'm going off on a tangent, and I wanted to kind of touch base on the white privilege thing. It's okay to admit that we have it. Just use it in a constructive way. And when I say that, I don't mean co-opting a protest. Okay? This is something else that we as white people, especially white women, have a tendency to do. And I'm guilty of this myself. We see this cause and we get really passionate about it and we get really angry and everything, but it's not our cause. Technically, it's not our cause. We are there as allies. So we need to step back and let the people whose protest it truly is tell us what they need from us. Because as allies, we should be willing to do whatever they need us to do. Not what we think needs to be done, because it's not our fight. It's not our sons and daughters, technically, that are in danger of leaving the house and never returning again because of a police officer shooting them. That's not our reality as white people. So this is something that we need to be respectful of and hold space. That's what I try to do when I'm going to the protests. I want to hold space for everybody else to do the work that they need to do. I want to be there as a witness. So if there is police brutality, I can say, hey, yo, I'm white and I saw it. I want to be there so that I can put my body in front of a black man or woman who's about to get busted by a police officer. That's what I'm there for. I want to make sure, because then my skin might make it so that I'm safer. It might make it so that I'm safer. So I need to use my white privilege and use it as an umbrella for everyone else that's around me. I really believe that. And because of that, I've lost friends and family. Not because of that specific issue, but because of how militant and outspoken I suppose I am. And how can you not be when you're seeing what's happening in this country? How can you not be enraged by it? And then you have the gaslighting of white America by white America, which I've been experiencing, and I know some people on Facebook have been experiencing, where we are just, we're trying to do our best to get the information out there to people that might still be watching mainstream media, for example, and not getting any of the real news. So I try to be outspoken. I try to, if I get a little knowledge, I try to pass it on. And I've been accused of being divisive and angry and militant, and it's like, well, yeah, I am angry. Yes, I have changed. Because, first of all, I don't have that bubble of privileged thinking around me. I know now that this shit is unfucking fair and it's unfucking just. And I know that, and I see it, and it makes me angry. And what really makes me angry is that I've been gaslighted all my life, all of us have, to think that this was in any way, shape, or form normal. You're telling me this is the best kind of society that we can have, where there's inequality? What the hell? like I said, we should have evolved past this point. Like, there should be no borders now. We should have evolved past that point as a species, but instead we're stagnating in this self-hatred, and we're, going after each other. And it's like, it's just insane to me that we are still in this place, that I have more privilege than someone else who may be a much better person than I am, but because I'm white, I'm the one who's going to get the breaks. It's like crazy. It's like a nightmare, and we need to wake up from it, because it doesn't want to let go. It doesn't want to let us wake up. But God, just open your eyes and wake up, and stop gaslighting your friends who happen to be passionate and strong about this, because this is murder. We are watching society unravel finally, because for so long it was just piecemealed together and hanging together, and people who were poor and over marginalized, underserved population, those were the people that could already see it completely unraveled. But we were still on the ledge, white America, and we didn't see it. I did not know nearly what I know now just a mere 10 years ago. I was so in the dark. And I thought I wasn't, and I thought I was enlightened, and I thought, no, I didn't know anything 10 years ago. And 10 years from now, I probably will say the same thing. But right now, we need to be aware, and we need to just stand up and say, we recognize our privilege. Hi, I'm the Cannabis Crone, and I have white privilege. And I'm going to try and use it anytime I can to help somebody who doesn't have it. That's why I've done the jobs that I've done throughout my life. That's why I want to keep saying and speaking, even though I get tired of being attacked, and even though I get tired of losing friends, and I get tired of alienating family. What I'm more tired of is that there are still people out there that are being murdered because of the way they look. I'm more tired of that than anything else, and I just want to wake up from the nightmare. Don't you? Don't you just want to wake up and just do better and be better and make it better? This cannot be the best system that we as a species could come up with. Capitalism, a throw your neighbor under the bus kind of system? Come on, you can't tell me with all these wonderful, glorious think tanks and these child prodigies running around that, why aren't we listening to them? You can't tell me they haven't come up with great ideas of how to implement utopia. And we're just so stuck on the fact that this illusionary economy that's not even backed by gold or anything else for that matter. We're just throwing paper around and making wild predictions and basing an economy on that. And yes, I know, obviously, I'm not an economist. I don't really know what I'm talking about, but I do to enough to be able to say for, the poor working class, it's an illusion. It's all based on speculation. And the best example of that is the fact that there are so many unemployed, more now than ever before in our nation's history, and yet the stock market is doing swimmingly. That's some shit. Come on. That's inherently wrong. White America, stop gaslighting white America. Wake up to your privilege and own it and use it to do good. No one's saying it's your fault. It's no one's fault how they look, how they end up looking, how they're born into this world. It's not anybody's fault. You shouldn't feel ashamed, but you should feel motivated. And I feel motivated. And I hope I keep getting motivated, and I hope that people keep me in check. And just remember, this is not our fight to co-op. and make our own and make money from it and t-shirts and slogans and all that stuff. No, no, no. We as white America are simply here to stand with our brothers and sisters and say, how do you need me? How do you need me? Because I'm here for you. And that's the best way that we can become allies and really make a difference, because it's got to change. It's wrong. It is wrong. Everything about this system, this country is wrong. And it's getting wronger by the moment. Peace. And smoke 'em if you got 'em.